Part 2 of the 3-5 financial strategy on this episode of Unlock Your Wealth Today. Your life fully invested. Welcome to Unlock Your Wealth Today. Your life fully invested. I'm your purveyor of prosperity and host Heather Wagenhals, and on this episode, I'm making success simple with part 2 of our 3-5 financial strategy and our fourth key in the Keys to Riches financial philosophy. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm really glad you're here because we're going to cover the second half of our 3-5 financial strategy. So last week we spoke about what the 3 side of it was because we worked on our dreams with deadlines key. And this week we're going to work on our fourth key, which is knowledge is power, not knowing is powerful. And there's a reason why I have it structured that way. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the Unlock Your Wealth Today show. I'm really glad you're here. The Keys to Riches is a financial philosophy that teaches you how to think like the rich and be in control of your own money. It also gives you specific techniques to create or fix your credit, eliminate debt, save and invest, all while transforming your current financial habits into healthy money management skills. And we do this one key at a time, 1 week at a time here on the Unlock Your Wealth show with my biology-based approach to success. If you'd like to learn more about it, all you have to do is go claim your free copy of the Keys to Riches in its ebook form. Just visit the website at unlockyourwealth.com and click on the link that says free book. So this week's key is our fourth key, and it's knowledge is power, not knowing is powerful. And this key is actually what spurred on my whole 3-5 financial strategy. And the reason why knowledge is power is important. And I always say knowledge is superfluous without application, is we have to know what to do before we can do it. But the flip side of that is the things that we don't know can potentially harm us. And because of the way our brain works, and we're always kind of here in the moment and slightly further ahead, waiting for what's coming next and looking for that next negative event, we want to be careful that we are aware of what could possibly hurt us. Because when things come out of left field, when we're completely blindsided by something that's never happened to us before, we've never thought about it, we're going to have a physiological reaction to it. And then what happens once we start dumping hormones? For those of you that are regular viewers, you already know that you can't access your logic, rational, reasonable brain because of what steps the body takes to fight, to freeze, or flee. So it's important that we can kind of go through and learn about these things that we should be addressing. Now, when it comes to our finances, do we have to be an expert in everything? No. And the reason why is because you want to be what you want to be in life. And you can still build wealth and do what floats your boat, regardless of how much money it makes you, because it's never about how much you make. It's about what you do with what you have left over. And that's the key that we have to be following, is that what do we do with what's left over? And that's these 5 areas of concern that we have to address. And that's why the 3-5 financial strategy is so simple. You ask the 3 questions that we reviewed last week, which is, where am I, where am I going, and what's the difference? And then we have to address the 5 areas of concern. And by addressing these systematically as our life progresses, this is how we're going to be able to create, build, and maintain and preserve our wealth for our family and for legacies to come if you do it right. And you don't have to have started out with a silver spoon in your mouth, because being rich out of the gate isn't a guarantee if you don't learn what you need to know about money and how to manage it effectively. So the 5 areas of concern are very simple. So the first area of concern that you must address is income, expenses, and credit. Everybody starts out the same way. Whether you start out by babysitting or mowing lawns like I did when you were a kid, once you start earning money, you're going to have to start managing it. So you need to know what's coming in and what's going out. And you need to be able to forecast how you plan to save and then spend. Because this is a savings and spending strategy that we do here with the Keys to Riches. Because budgets don't work, and we're going to learn about that coming up soon in our 7th key, which is our Break the Budget key. So income, expenses, and credit must be addressed. We're also going to address credit in our 7th, 8th, 9th key. I had to think about that. And in the 9th key, we're going to create or fix our credit. And we're going to learn why that's important. Because as we get to the 10th key, we're going to learn how to take our money and add this little fabulous component called velocity that will help us invest and earn exponentially. And that's what's critical, because savings is just part of the strategy. So we've got income, expenses, and credit for our first areas of concern. Our second area of concern is called protections. And we need to think of protections as an investment in our future. Now, a lot of people don't like the idea of insurance. They think it's a waste of money. But I want to give you a different way of looking at insurance for a moment. So when we purchase insurance, we are insuring our success, INSUREING, to ensure our success, ENSURE. Very, very different. But the reason we need to look at insurance separately, it's not about a waste of money if you never make a claim. But you need to think about it as preserving your future millionaire status. So when you buy insurance, get rid of the idea that you're buying anything. What you're doing is you're renting your millionaire status before you get there. Because the reality is, if you don't have insurance to protect you, protect your health, your driving habits, your liabilities, anything that may happen either intentionally or unintentionally, this allows you to protect what small wealth you have built so far, so you don't lose that in lawsuits, expenditures, having to pay for losses that you can't get around. Sure, you can drive without car insurance, but if your car is wrecked to the place where it's not salvageable, now not only do you have to finish paying off that loan if you financed it, but now you got to figure out how you're going to go out and get another car. Because transportation is vital to your ability to generate income. So this is why we have to insure our success to ensure our success. So think about insurance not as a waste of money like everybody does, but rather let's avoid thinking about that and focus on how I can use insurance to rent millionaire status. So what I'm doing is, instead of having to have $1 million in the bank for emergencies and for mishaps and issues, I'm renting that $1 million status. And when we look at it differently and we understand what it's doing, we are able to have millionaire status for a fraction of what it would cost us to be able to drop that money in the bank. And so that's the value of insurance. And so if you visit the website or direct message me, if you're watching this on social media, just hit me up for this week's key strategy, because there's all different types of insurance that you need to be aware of, and you need to assess whether or not it's valuable to you at this point in your life. And insurance is not meant to be permanent, okay? It's to insure your success, meaning to protect your ability to get there, to get to that millionaire status. So we want to use insurance and then constantly assess it based on what's going on in our lives, because certain types of insurance will be relevant. If you're 18, long-term care may not be the best investment for you, because likely with the advent of all of these great foods and the nutrition and all of the stuff we know about the body, we have quite a life expectancy. And if you talk in insurance terms, the morbidity rate is declining. And so we're living healthier, better, longer. So that need for insurance for that specific type of insurance is more appropriate for somebody in their 40s or 50s, but certainly not at 18. So you're going to learn about all the different types of insurance there are and how to determine if it's valuable to you. And so all you have to do is direct message me or visit the website at unlockyourwealth.com and claim your free strategy today. And you can then receive how to address these 5 areas of concern. So our third area of concern is asset accumulation. So what we're going to do is we're going to start accumulating assets, because if you start with nothing, you can't invest anything. So we first must accumulate some assets before we can add some velocity investing it. So this is all about savings. And people say, oh, don't save your money, you need to invest it. But you have to save something to get there. So we need a tiered savings plan. So we have different things that we need to start saving for. We have short, mid, and long-term goals with our finances that we worked on last week in our Dreams with Deadlines key. So we have tiered savings that we have to be doing. And we can put various amounts in the various ones. I have a guideline that you can start with, but you need to tweak this savings plan for your own lifestyle. So we have to, again, save some assets before we can start investing them. So then that's where we get to our fourth area of concern, which is asset multiplication. And this is where we make our money work as hard or harder than we do. And so this is about the different types of investing that you can do and the different risks associated and what's appropriate for you and your life goals and your immediate concerns. Are you single? Do you have dependents? Do you have a spouse or significant other? Or, somebody that you've shared children with. These all have to be addressed. And you need to start this tiered savings program according to your lifestyle. Once you build it, we get to stick to it. And again, that's how we work through some of these other keys. We'll talk about how we do that. Now, our final area of concern, this fifth area of concern, is what we call asset preservation. So asset preservation is an advanced tool for investing, and this is for preserving wealth so you can create your legacy and have that go for generations to come. And the other part of it is tax mitigation strategies. How do we mitigate as many taxes that we can and keep everybody off our hard-earned money? So this is a critical area because not only does this require the use of some specific legal instruments, you want to make sure that what you earned and what you want to pass on gets where it wants to go. So this is wills, trusts, tax strategies. These are advanced investing techniques for preserving wealth and building legacy. And we have to address this. And if you're sitting there saying, well, I don't have anything. Well, you do. You'd be surprised at what people fight over. Now, I am in my 50s and I have lost lots of friends and family members along the way. And what I've seen from personal experience within my own family and in some of my friends' families, is that people fight over the darndest things like pots and pans. Are you kidding me? So it doesn't matter if you have big gobs of money or big stuff, multiple vehicles, multiple houses, whatever. That's not why you create a will. It's to get the things that are valuable to you right now to where you want them to go. Maybe you're a writer. Maybe you've been working on a book. You might have copyright stuff. You may want to be able to pass those on so somebody else can help build your legacy. Maybe you have a family heirloom and you have 2 kids or more, and one of them would not be responsible with that asset that you want to stay in the family. So you want to maybe give it to the kid that is the most responsible or the one that values it the most. If you avoid a will and you let the courts decide, the courts don't know you from anybody. So the courts are going to go with equity, or if there's a fight, they're probably going to make everybody sell everything and make it into a dollar amount. And that's not what you want. So you have to think about these things because life can be long. Like I said, life expectancy are now in the 90s for people. People are living well over 100. We have more centenarians than ever before. And it's because we just know so much more about the body. We know more about disease. We know how to mitigate it, and we know how to create better nutrition. So we're living healthier longer. But that doesn't protect you from stepping off a curb inadvertently and getting snuffed out by a bus or an oncoming car. Crazy things happen. You never know when it's your last breath. And so if you delay putting off, addressing wills and trusts and other legal instruments to help protect you and your family and your assets, no matter how small or trivial, you're leaving it up to somebody else to make those decisions. And the things that you want to go to the people that you feel would treasure it most may not happen. So you have to take action for that. And they're simple and they're inexpensive. There's a variety of ways to get them done. All you have to do is visit the Unlock Your Wealth website or direct message me here if you're watching on social media so you can get the complete list of what you need to be doing to start you on the path. Now, why is it important to address these 5 areas of concern completely? And the reason why you need to address them completely is because you cannot delegate effectively if you don't understand what you're delegating with. How many times in the news have you heard about this celebrity or this professional athlete that is now bankrupt because they allowed somebody else to manage the money? And they didn't know how to find out if that person was the right person to be doing that. You need to know how to interview these financial professionals and these legal professionals to make sure they're the right fit for you. But if you don't know anything about it, your delegation is like, playing the lottery. You never know what you're going to get or if you're going to win. So you want to take those steps. And again, you don't have to be the expert. If you're an artsy person and numbers aren't important to you from the, oh my gosh, I got to study the stock market. Great, at least understand how it works and know what you want to achieve and interview the people and make sure that what they are recommending is in line with what you want. And if you don't know what that is, how can you address it? So that's why these 5 areas of concern are extremely important when it comes to building your financial wealth and legacy. And let's face it, you might think because of, stigma from growing up that, oh, I don't want to be about money or I don't want to be perceived as greedy. It's not greedy to look out for your own best interest. You must be doing that. And you must take an active role in it because we can't rely on Big Brother to take care of us. We, as individuals, with the freedoms we have to choose things, also must bear the responsibility to choose effectively. And again, how can you make a decision without the right information? So the more tools that you have and the more resources you can use to help understand where you need to be financially and recognize that, hey, I don't want to check my stock portfolio every day, but I understand that there's a value to it because it's going to help me get where I want to go life-wise, not just financially, because we need to think about money and in a different perspective. If you're worried about greed or being perceived as greedy, or you were told you weren't good enough or this, that, or the other thing, you have a couple of, mental hurdles to overcome. And that presents the problem. But just because you don't want to be greedy doesn't mean that the money is bad. So if we fundamentally look at our money differently, and instead of calling money dollars, and talk about, being rich, if that's a negative connotation to you, we need to think about dollars instead of being money. We need to think of it as a store of value. And what I like to refer to dollars as is units of choice. So to shift the paradigm about the negative stigma that money has for some of you, and again, we have great resources for that. Just visit the website at unlockyourwealth.com. What you need to do is look at money from a unit of choice perspective. And when we look at it that way, if you have one unit of choice, so you have $1, right? So $1 can only buy so many things, right? But we need to think of that instead of it as money. We need to think of it as units of choice. So you have what? 100 units of choice stored in that $1. Actually, it's even more than that, because you can have multiple different ways in which you spend that. So if you have $1, you have 1 unit of choice. But if you have $2, you have 2 or more than 2 units of choice, because it exponentially adds the way in which you can use those units. So if we were thinking about a life perspective without the stigma of money, but understanding that money is a tool to achieving what we really value, love, friendship, learning, whatever it might be, and we take that unit of choice, it would make sense that 1 unit of choice is good, but more units of choice is better. Because if you have $1,000, you have many more units of choice. When we don't have money, it limits our ability to exchange value between other people in society. Like buying groceries. The farmer created the value in that, and he's offering it for a few units of choice of yours. And then you can take and trade him those units of choice, so now you can have breakfast. Okay? So we have to think in these different terms, and we have to eschew the negative stigma associated with money and understand that units of choice are good. And the more units of choice you have, the more choice you have. And that's what the value of money does, is it gives you options the more you have. So it's not about being greedy. It's about being able to live the most fantastic life in your definition. Not my idea of what money is or what wealth is, but what your idea of wealth is. What's important to you? What do you value most? The more units of choice you have, the more choice you have to pursue that. If you like to help people charitably, imagine if you had $1, 1 unit of choice to give, or 100 units of choice. You could then exponentially give that organization a significantly amount higher of choice. How many more units of choice will they have to be able to do what they do, those good works? And you can support the more units of choice you have. So we have to pursue prosperity for our ability to live our richest, most colorful, most fulfilling, purposeful, meaningful life we possibly can. Because like we talked about in the protections category, we never know. As we talked about in our asset preservation category, we never know when it's over. But the one sure thing that's guaranteed is one day it will be. And so accumulating the most amount of units of choice you can in the time you have here gives you the opportunity to have a more fulfilling, celebratory life experience. So again, message me on Instagram or Facebook at Unlock Your Wealth, at Unlock Your Wealth TV, wherever you're watching this. Make sure that you bookmark this if you're watching on social media, and then you want to take, and that way you can reference it at a later time, and then you want to share it with all of your friends wherever you can, on your stories or in your timelines, because the reality is, according to Jim Rohn, one of my mentors and co-authors, the late Jim Rohn said that you are an average of the top 5 people you hang out with. So if you want to be an achiever, if you're working to accumulate those units of choice, then you want the folks around you to do that too. And when you lift up others and empower others, so too you shall rise. So take a moment to bookmark this on your social media and share it everywhere you can. That way you and all of those friends have many more units of choice to do all of the things that you want to in this lifetime. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm really grateful that you're here. And I also want to take a moment to give you an opportunity to participate in an upcoming event that I'm going to be speaking at and broadcasting live. Yes, Freedom Fest is back, live and in person, in full effect this summer. And we have moved to Mount Rushmore, South Dakota. And this is going to be July, and it's going to be the 21st through the 24th. And exclusively for Unlock Your Wealth fans, we have a $50 off coupon. All you have to do is visit my website at unlockyourwealth.com/FreedomFest and claim your exclusive discount code for Unlock Your Wealth fans, because if you come to Freedom Fest, it is the largest liberty and economic conference in the world. There'll be a litany of financial professionals that you could start learning about different things to invest in once you have accumulated some dollars to start investing and you move toward asset multiplication. This is a great place to find a bunch of liberty-loving financial professionals to explore the different types of investing that's out there. Plus, you could be a part of the show. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll be broadcasting live. We'll be doing Q&A. I would love to see you. Plus, I'm also speaking in the business and entrepreneurship track at Freedom Fest. So I would love to have you, meet you in person, and be able to celebrate this incredible life journey that we are all on. And I thank you for being a part of mine. So for more great resources, interviews from the hottest financial professionals and self-help gurus, just visit unlockyourwealthtoday.com, where you can get all of those resources and so much more. Again, I'm Heather Wagenhals. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'm making success simple for you. Now go out and unlock your wealth today.
UnlockYourWealthToday.com is produced by Heather Wagenhals and the Unlock Your Wealth Foundation. Unlock Your Wealth Today and affiliate brands are copyrighted 2021 by Heather Wagenhals. All rights reserved. For more information about the Keys to Riches financial philosophy or this week's free strategy, please visit UnlockYourWealthToday.com.
No time to read the best-selling books for your business or industry? What if I told you you could enjoy the best and most meaningful parts of a book in about 12 minutes? Believe me, I'm Heather Wagenhals, and I'm making success simple by helping you learn on the go just like I do, with text, audio, and video summaries from your favorite best-selling books, and do it on the fly in less than 12 minutes with Steve Cunningham and Read It For Me. Join tens of thousands of leaders around the world, including yours truly, who use Read It For Me to learn the biggest ideas from the world's best leadership, sales, marketing, and personal development books in less than 12 minutes. All you have to do to begin reading best-selling books and enjoying your special rate for Unlock Your Wealth fans is visit unlockyourwealth.com/read it for me, or click on the link somewhere in this post. Learn on the go with text, audio, and video summaries from your favorite best-selling books, and do it on the fly in less than 12 minutes. Visit unlockyourwealth.com/read it for me and start your 12-minute reading journey now.